Hi, my name is Radivia Brigham, and I'm the CEO and founder of Propose a Bid. And in today's video, we have an elevator replacement RFP for the Jeanne Manor. The date today is April 27th, 2026. This RFP went out on April 24th, 2026. Now, a little bit about Propose a Bid. We are a platform focused on structuring repair and capital project bids so that they are clear, comparable, and usable for real decision making, not just pricing. So this RFP is intended for qualified elevator vendors who can evaluate existing conditions, propose complete and code compliant solutions. So once again, the project is located at Jeanne Manor. That's at 85 South 5th Street in San Jose. And Propose a Bid has a direct agreement in place with the Archdiocese of San Jose and the John Stewart Company, which is the property management firm overseeing this asset. So if there are any questions regarding the validity of this RFP, vendors are encouraged to contact the property directly using the contact information provided in the RFP. So this video walks through the elevator RFP, what's required from vendors, and how this process supports ownership in making a clear, defensible decision. So this is a full elevator replacement project in an occupied senior housing building. The property was originally constructed in the early 1920s, and the existing elevator systems are believed to be either original or near end of life. So these are with limited modernization over time. So as a result, the systems are aging, and increasingly there's unreliability and operating on legacy components with potential parts and service limitations. So the goal of this project is to deliver safe, modern, and long-term solutions that meet current code requirements and support the needs of residents and staff. At the end of this video, you'll find photos of the current elevator conditions to provide additional context prior to the mandatory site walkthrough. This is not a typical RFP, and that's intentional. There is no fully developed design set being provided for this project, although there are blueprints. Instead, vendors are expected to verify the existing conditions in the field, assess system constraints, and then develop a complete solution based on real world conditions. So this means that your proposal should not be based on assumptions tied to drawings, but on your direct evaluation of the building, the existing equipment, and what is required to deliver a full operational code compliance system. So in other words, you're not simply pricing a defined scope, you are defining the scope required to solve the problem. And that includes system selection, integration with existing infrastructure, and identifying any upgrades or modifications needed to meet current code and performance standards. So if something is required for the system to function properly and meet the codes, it should be reflected in your bid, whether explicitly listed or not. So here we have the three required paths. One is a base, which is a full replacement, and then two alternatives, which is the modernization and the repair stabilization. So every vendor is required to submit all three options: full replacement, modernization, and the repair or stabilization. And this structure is intentional. Ownership is not simply evaluating pricing, they are also evaluating the levels of intervention. So each with different costs, right, lifespans, and there's a risk profile. So by requiring all three paths, this RFP creates a clear framework to compare short-term, mid-term, and long-term solutions side by side. This allows ownership to understand not just what something costs, but what they're getting in terms of performance, reliability, and remaining useful life. It also helps surface trade-offs between upfront costs, long-term value, and the operational risks. So for vendors, this means your role is not just to provide a single solution, but to help define the range of viable options based on real conditions and your professional judgment. Each path should be treated as a complete, thought out solution with clear scope, pricing, and expected outcomes. This is what allows ownership to make clear, informed, and defensible decisions rather than choosing between incomplete or misaligned bids. So, this might be one of the most important parts of this RFP, and it may seem a little different than how bids are typically submitted. And we understand that at Propose a Bid. These bids must be detailed, transparent, and fully structured, right? So this means more than just providing a number. Vendors are expected to clearly show how your price is built, what is included, what is not included, and what assumptions your proposals depend on. In many cases, traditional bids rely on lump sums and implied scope. That approach does not work for this particular elevator project. So if something is assumed, it needs to be stated. If something is excluded, it needs to be stated. This is what allows bids to be compared accurately and prevents misalignment, the infamous change orders, and scope gaps later in the project. In addition, each option should include an expected lifespan and a recommended approach so ownership understands not just the costs, but the outcome and long term implication of each path. Finally, your phasing plan should clearly explain how the building will remain optional, including how at least one elevator will stay in service throughout the project. So the goal is simple, to turn your bid into something that can actually be used to make a decision, not something that needs to be interpreted after the fact. So if your bid requires explanation after submission, it's likely missing something that should already be in it. So here we have real world constraints. So these constraints are critical and they should directly shape how your bid is developed. This project must be executed in a fully occupied senior building, which means resident safety, accessibility, and minimal disruptions are not optional. They're the core requirements. At all times, at least one elevator must remain optional. Remember, there's two elevators. So this will require a clearly defined phasing plan, sequencing of work, and the coordination to ensure continuous services throughout the project. In addition, the site has limited access, staging, and logistical flexibility. So these conditions should be accounted for in your planning, labor assumptions, and the overall pricing. And finally, the mandatory walkthrough is not just formality, it's your opportunity and your responsibility to confirm conditions, identify constraints, and incorporate them into your proposals. If conditions are observable during the walkthrough and not accounted for in your bid, it may limit the ability to address them later. So the key point is this, right? These are not secondary considerations. These are foundational and fundamental to delivering a successful and executable project. So your bid should reflect not just what it costs to replace the elevators, but what it takes to do so under these conditions. All right, so based on the RFP and the observable site conditions, these systems are at or near end of life. So the cab interiors show clear signs of aging, including worn wall panels, outdated lighting systems, and visible deterioration throughout. And from a control standpoint, the elevators are operating in older, non-modern systems with legacy push-button interfaces and outdated indicators. So these systems lack modern diagnostics and efficiency and long-term parts availability. In the machine room, the equipment reflects older traction-based systems with aging controllers and drive components. which increases the likelihood of ongoing maintenance issues and system unreliability. So overall, the existing elevators should be viewed as functionally obsolete systems, where full replacement is the intended direction, with modernization and repair options included only to provide alternative decision paths. So because of these conditions, vendors are not simply pricing a known system, they are expected to evaluate, interpret, and propose a complete solutions based on real world conditions here. So this includes identifying the system constraints, integration requirements, and any upgrades needed to meet current code and performance standards. So here, because of the age of the building, we have a permits and full responsibility, right? So this project is structured as a full responsibility design build type scope. So that means the selected vendor is responsible for delivering a complete operational system, including the permitting and the approvals required to make that system function. I do have some permitting information that I can send to you if you're interested in this bid and estimations process. So this is not a separate or owner managed process. The vendor will be responsible for preparing and submitting all permit applications, coordinating with the city of San Jose and any governing agencies, along with the scheduling and managing of the inspections, and securing final approvals required for operation. So all permits related costs should be included in your base bid or clearly itemized as part of your proposal. So the expectation is that the system is delivered fully permitted, right? Fully approved and ready for use, not partially complete with additional steps required after the installation. So if a permit, the approval or coordination steps is required for the system to operate, it should be accounted for in your bid. So for vendors, this is a designed to be straightforward and a fair opportunity. So there's no pay to play with propose a bid. And every complete well-structured bid is guaranteed to be reviewed directly by ownership. So more importantly, this structure is intended to help you not make things harder, right? So by clearly defining scope, assumptions, and expectations up front, it allows your bid to be understood for what it actually represents, not just comparable against incomplete or misaligned proposals. So it gives you a better chance to compete based on the quality of your solution and not just the pricing. And over time, it actually creates a stronger foundation for ongoing work and relationships with ownership groups who value clarity and execution outside of propose a bid, because that's exactly what we want. We want our vendors to get work regardless if we're in the framework or not. So if you don't typically work with third parties, that's completely fine. There's no pressure. But if you are open to it, this is an opportunity to engage in a more structured and transparent process. And for ownership, this process delivers more than just bids. It creates a structured way to evaluate options across different levels of investment with clear visibility into scope, the assumptions, the risks, and the expected lifespan. So instead of comparing disconnected proposals, ownerships receive aligned comparable options that can be evaluated side by side. And this leads to better decisions, fewer surprises during execution, and a clear record of how and why those decisions were made in the first place. So the goal is simple: to create a process where vendors can present strong, complete solutions and ownership can make confident, informed decisions. And when that alignment exists, everyone wins. So this is not about restricting how vendors bid or how anyone bids. It's about making sure that your work is clearly understood and properly evaluated. And so thank you for taking the time to review this RFP and this complete overview. So we understand that the structure may be different from what you typically see. And that's what Propose a Bid does. And we appreciate the effort it takes to put together a complete and thoughtful proposal. So if you have any questions at any point, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly at the phone number or email below using the contact information provided through the QR code, or you can reach me through LinkedIn or through my website. You're also welcome to share this opportunity with peers and other qualified vendors who may be a good fit for this project. And for those preparing bids, we wish you the best in the process and look forward to reviewing your submissions. Now, for ownership and any additional stakeholders watching, thank you as well. This process is designed to support clear, informed, and defensible decisions, and we appreciate the opportunity to help you structure that. So the final deliverable is not just installation for this elevator project. It is a fully operational, fully permitted, and fully approved elevator system ready for use. Vendors should approach this project with the understanding that they are responsible for delivering a complete code compliant system, not just individual components. So once again, thank you again for your time, and we look forward to working with you.